All right.
Hello,
Lovely.
Marie.
Evening, afternoon.
Hello, Iggy.
Good evening. How you
Good
doing?
Good
evening.
evening.
Those
All
who are
right.
on board have a great panel tonight, and
Yeah.
have some good things and kind of some ugly things to talk about. But you know what? Good things ahead. I believe. Good things ahead. Iggy, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Got 3 points. Ugly, but but we got 3 points. I guess I got it. That's it. I mean, got to. Ellie, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've just got a bit of sore eyes. That's why I'm not going to put my camera on because I went out today and some grit got in my eye and they're very sore. So I apologise. You don't have to look at my ugly face anyway, so that's a good bonus.
Ellie, what do you mean? What do you mean? No,
I'm not saying anything.
well, uh, where do we start?
Where do we start? Let's see.
On on the Wolves game. We won 1-0. Um,
Hmm.
it, you know, I, it's I want to say maybe if we're spoiled, maybe especially if we go back to the Potch era, Harry Redknapp, just the style of play that we play, just steering to up and down, and the first halves, like the Wolves game and Chelsea game, it just kind of like, uh, it was boring,
Yeah,
but
I know.
well, we got the 3 points, and it's 3 points that we didn't have last year. So, Iggy, your thoughts on the Wolves game?
I was there. I was there, Mari. So, first off, yeah, I completely agree. It wasn't a great watch. No tempo, lethargic. Passing wasn't great. Just it wasn't a pretty watch all around. Lacked just lacked everything that you could ask for in the first half. The tempo was really low, and like I said, there was no real intensity about the game. Second half, we came out a lot better. We started getting up higher up the pitch. The tempo was a little bit better, and some of our better players, particularly Kulusevski, started getting into the game, and then we started doing a little bit better. And obviously, the goal came yet again. Another positive, I would say, is scoring yet again from a corner. We started doing that. So that's two goals from the corner back to back. One against Chelsea and one against Wolves. So there's clearly that we've improved in those situations where sometimes we couldn't break we couldn't break the deadlock, could we? A lot of the times last season.
Yeah.
This time around, we seem to be doing it, even when we're not playing too well, as you rightly say. Once we broke the deadlock, we forced Wolves to come on to us, and yeah, with a little bit of good fortune in front of goal and a little bit more venom, so to speak, we could have probably got another one, but. It was an ugly win. It was a win. That's 7 points out of nine. So yes, whilst we can improve for sure from a spectacle point of view, um,
Mm.
we have to say 7 points out of nine is not a bad return when you're not playing well, as you rightly say.
Yeah. Ali, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah. I was just likening it to Nuno's three starts because we played Wolves in that first three with Nuno as well, and we won 1-0 in that game as well, and we got 9 out of 9, and then it just went to pot, didn't it? So I think the game. I wasn't at the match unfortunately because I had a family thing to attend, but I saw the highlights and I saw most of the match, and I agree with Iggy. The first half was like we were lame. lethargic, not moving the ball particularly well. Wolves were getting at us. We were just too deliberate in the passing from the back. Not much energy really going forward. It didn't look like we wanted to score really. And then suddenly in the second half, after Conte got his hands on them and gave them a bollocking probably, they bucked up a few notches, but not to the extent where you get up off your seat and think, bloody hell, this is a good match, and it excites you to be watching Spurs because that's our trademark, isn't it, Mari and Iggy? We're Spurs. We're supposed to entertain our crowd. We're supposed to play lovely football. And like you said, Mari, we're winning ugly. We are, and it's a shame because I want to see entertaining football and to win. I want to have my cake and eat it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, and if you told me that if we're gonna win 1-0 through the rest of the season,
Mm.
Premier League, I would take it. I mean, in a heartbeat,
I,
I would
I
take
would,
it. But
yeah,
it's just,
you're right there.
it's just, it was like literally, and I'll post this question. I know I usually do it later in the show, but it's a funny question. I put up first half boredom. What's one thing you would rather have done than watch that first half? you know, uh, you know, like seriously, I mean, I'll start first. I mean, I would have rather had done my taxes or had sex, or then watch that first half. It was just that dreadful. Iggy.
Well, your shout is not a bad one, to be honest with you. Uh, Anything really, really, anything would have been better than that first half. To be honest, with you. 45 minutes could have been spent way better. And given it was an early kickoff as well, so it meant that I was
Mm.
up and about really early to get there. So yeah, like I said, if you had to miss a game live, then probably that one would have been the most ideal. Some people I know couldn't make the game because it was an early kickoff or they had other things going on. Like Ellie just said, she had a family event. They probably got a lucky escape.
Like she just escaped.
Yeah.
Now, um, question, right? And I post this in some other streams. You look at the first half, the midfield of the Chelsea game dominated us. I mean, of course, they have world class Conte, Jorginho, you know, and I'm glad Ellie's back. Um,
Yeah, it's
in
just
the
my
relate,
internet cut out there. Sorry.
and then and then you look at the Wolves game, and it's the kind of same thing. I mean, my man of the match, though they lost, was Nieves. He was, I mean,
Mm.
amazing. And if you're into sofa scores, he had the highest. I think it's 7.6.
Yeah.
It, I don't think it's fitness, right? And of course, we put all our trust in Conte. But is there going to be a point where Basuma, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? I've looked at Basuma, the game against Chelsea with Brighton, was amazing in that game. So you look at him and his abilities. Would you say
Mm.
that he would have been a perfect person to start? And I'm not saying necessarily Hoiberg or Bentancur, um, either one, but it almost comes to a point like, is Basuma going to be able to start over one of those guys and we can see something different
I
from him?
think so. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see all three of them in there, but because they're all much of the muchness, I don't think Conte likes that idea. Like if one of them was a cam and, really did go forward a lot, then I would see that working. But because they're all sort of defensive sort of midfielders, really, um, with Højbjerg probably being the most defensive in terms of his leg work. I don't know. I'd like to see Basuma with Bentancur, not Basuma with Højbjerg, because they're too similar, and I don't know. I just think that'll be more pretty than Højbjerg and Basuma. And like Højbjerg needs a rest as well. God, he's played so many games. He does need a rest.
Yeah, yeah. Iggy, I posed that same question. But
Um, yeah. For me, listen. For me, we was. I don't think we were set up right against Chelsea. Our win
Mm.
backs were poor. Yet again, they were poor. And I think our central midfield suffered a lot. Hi, Lisa. Our
Hello,
central
Lisa.
our central midfield area suffered a lot. So I don't know how much difference in that particular game Bissouma could have made, because, like I said, we wasn't set up right.
No,
And
that's true.
I just didn't like the way we played. I didn't like the way we set up, and we just kind of allowed Chelsea to really really dominate us for the vast majority of the game. When I felt that we could have tried to at least get at them a little bit. Things got a little bit better when Richarlison came on. Because we reverted to a back four, and we put Richarlison back up. So we started getting a little bit better. But to answer your question regarding Basuma, I think both he Longley, I think he had that thing when we went to South Korea. He didn't get to play at all because of the COVID situation, and I think he fell a little bit behind from the fitness preparation. So I think they're still trying to get him up to scratch,
Yeah,
or at least on the same level as the other players physically. And this is what Conte really demands. He wants the players to be at the peak of their physical condition to be playing, and also he needs to learn his ideology of the way he wants to play for Spurs. So, and in fact, that's why all the new players that have come in haven't yet been unleashed, so to speak.
yeah,
But I think now, though, Mari, with 3 games, we're going to have Nottingham Forest on the weekend. We got West
yeah,
Ham during a week, and we got Fulham the following weekend. So we're gonna have 3 games in one week. I think maybe within these 3 games you'll start seeing maybe one or two rotating for which one of them will be Bissouma. So hopefully we'll get to see him in the flesh and playing in the Spurs shirt, which is what we all want because we know how good Bissouma is, and for sure
yeah,
he's going to be dominating games to come. I just think Chelsea came a little bit too early for him.
okay. And so,
yeah,
no, and I'm glad you mentioned that because it was just announced that we played Forest in the uh,
yeah.
uh,
We've got
uh,
them away, haven't we?
Yeah, Forest away in the
Forest
cup.
away and Man City, Chelsea. I
Yeah,
saw, which
one of
is a
them's
good
going
one.
out now, so
Yeah, that's good.
good.
Lisa, actually, yeah, she answered the question. But it was, yeah, it's basically the question. Do you think Conte will pair up and yeah, I think he would have to for depth reasons and with now Champions League draw coming out tomorrow.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was trying to update it because there was a couple of teams that qualified today. If could get one in time before the show, maybe we could kind of dream out our dream scenario. Definitely don't want to be
Yeah,
a group of death in regards to. I saw one by Bleacher Report where they had Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund in our bracket, and I'm like, no, I do not want that. I mean, uh,
I wouldn't mind Borussia Dortmund, but Bayern Munich, I think, nah. Maybe later on in the competition.
yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind being Real Madrid. It's just that the other two teams I kind of wanted to be like I don't know. Well, it can't be Porto. Porto was the Portuguese league champion. So, but hopefully they'll have an updated.
They're D-side, man.
Yeah, but
you're going to get at least one of the big teams. There's no two ways about that. You will get one. So it's just
Yeah,
it's just a case
to
which
tell the
one of the
truth, I
pot
think we
A's.
do better.
Porto now, Brad. They're in pod one. I will take it. I will take it. No
Yeah,
disrespect to Porto. They've won the champion.
Yeah,
A
good
couple,
side, bro. Yeah, good side.
and
They're a good
Jose.
side, and they're a very close knit team. They're very family orientated. They're a very good, well run club, and they play with passion. So we've got to be careful with these teams
Yeah,
because we've got to be on our guard. Like
It's the
Dynamo
Champions
Zagreb did a
League.
number on us.
It's the Champions League, though. It's you. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You don't want to get the big guns straight away, but at the same time, you want to get something that excites you to get those games at White Hart Lane under
Yeah,
the floodlights. You want that excitement. You want that Champions League excitement, and part of that
yeah,
excitement is the opponent that you're facing. So,
right. Yeah,
mate, whoever it is, bring it on. Is
right.
what I always say.
yeah. Want to get
Oh,
our juices flowing, Mari? Come on.
come on. Well, there was some good news and some good things out of the game could pull out. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
you know that new coach from Italy that we with our set pieces. Wow, we're scoring goals
yeah.
and true
Gianni Vio. He's
and
earning his money.
yeah.
Somebody said he should be getting a pay rise in Twitter.
No, you should. And one person that he's definitely benefiting is this hero, this legend right here, club legend, uh, a Mr. Harry Kane.
Mm,
Yeah.
Both Premier League goals for a single club and is getting closer to Alan Shearer all-time Premier League goals specials. And
yeah,
so um, Harry Kane, um, what can we say about the guy? Now, I will say this. I will say this. We're not seeing the best of Kane. We're also not seeing the best of Sonny. Though he scored the goals, won the game. There, we have to see more. I'm going to be fair because even before the goals, I'm questioning Harry Kane. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Especially because he had such a great, preseason.
yeah,
Um, but you know, um, but then again, traditionally in August, he starts off slow. And he has two goals. So, what do you make of this accomplishment? Because he's only been with Spurs. That's an accomplishment in the day and age where people switch. You don't have too many Totties, of Roma, who stick to one club. So Iggy, your thoughts on this accomplishment?
Listen,
Oh,
it's a great achievement, and I looking at that not this page that you put up, the other one that I saw, um, I think he will catch Rooney this year. If you not what's the other? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. To see Rooney on second place with 208 goals, I think he will catch him this year. I think he will
yeah,
do it this season, and then after that, well, he will have Alan Shearer within his sights. If he carries on being at Spurs, then he can really go for it. He can really go for it, but it will all depend what's also happening at Spurs, because at some point, even if he does catch a Rooney and he wants to go and then really get Alan Shearer within his sights, he has to be, and I'm sure he's going to want to achieve something with Spurs, trophy wise. It will all depend on that. If we win there, maybe a domestic cup this year, an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, as we were speaking about the Carabao earlier on. If we do that, then I believe he can really, really go after that record and stay at Tottenham for the remainder of his career. If we don't, and how long will he give Spurs, before he wants to win? Well, he certainly wants to win trophy. He wants to win a trophy at the very least. So
yeah,
I
he
think he will
does.
catch Rooney. Catching Alan Shearer will all come down to what our situation is regarding where we're at as a club and where we're at winning the trophies. But for sure, he
Yeah,
can he can break that record if he stays at Spurs.
yeah. Pose that same question to you, Ellie. How
yeah.
big an accomplishment is this?
He's fantastic. I mean, Harry Kane, he's the epitome of what a striker should be, but he's even more because he plays like a number 10 as well, and he creates so many chances for us. And he's unselfish running. He's just fantastic at passing. Not just his goal achievement, he's a whole play. I take my hat off to him because he's a club legend already, and it's just such a crying shame that he hasn't got any silverware to show for it. You know, it's like it breaks your heart because he's given his all to our club, and like when he's made his debut, who would have thought that he would have gone on to do that? Because although he was fantastic for Spurs in our academy, you know, everybody was doubting him and we were putting him on loan and after loan after loan, and he came back a stronger man. I think he's just incredible, you know, and his link up play with Sonny over the last 2, 3 seasons, especially, it's been like out of this world, and it deserves something for it. You know, even if he doesn't reach that milestone of 260, but I believe he will. But even if he doesn't, I want him to win something because
He can, he can, he can definitely achieve it. He can catch.
yeah,
I really do believe he can catch
I do as
Alan
well.
Shearer if he stays at Spurs for that long. He
Yeah,
can do it. It will
yeah,
all come down to, like you say, like the silverware situation.
I
yeah.
So
post, post,
I reckon he's got at least 3 or 4 seasons in him still
yeah,
because he's a fit lad.
yeah.
He's a fit boy, you know, and he's strong, 6'2", muscular. You know, he's never been a fast runner anyway, so he's not going to slow down, is he?
Yeah.
So he uses his brain like Sheringham used to do.
I'm going to say this because I know I posed this question before. I've said this. Um, he is world class,
He is,
and
100%.
then I have a tier that's above, and I have it with probably across all sports. And it's called legendary in the sport. And
Mm,
my criteria for like legendary is for me is okay. You've had to won something to be legendary, and you know like the Maradonas, the Messis, the Zidans. Um, but as I look at this, and the Premier League being the best league, bar none, for me, the best league. You know, there was a time when I was young. It was Serie A, my opinion. At that time,
mm.
it was just. I mean, it was a battle. We could have been the two Milan's team, the Juventus, Lazio. You know, when they had Nesta. You know, Roma. You know, it was just, and then in
Yeah,
that
you're talking about the early '90s.
early
Yeah,
'90s
The early '90s Serie A was the best league in the world by a country mile.
and
yeah,
even going to 2000, Roma, you
I
know,
think once the
that's
Premier League, once it became the Premier League, I think
yeah,
from
especially
late
yeah.
90s, early then it took over.
Is
exactly.
it? Yeah, I
And
agree with you.
so I say this, I'm actually going to break my rule and say that if he gets to Shearer with 260, it has to be considered legendary. And then to add,
Mm,
he did take England to a semifinal. He did win the Golden Boot. And so I'm gonna say, because I always get into arguments with other people at the barbershop or at a
mm.
party when we talk about football. They were like, well, he hasn't won anything, and so um,
That doesn't take away.
yeah,
That doesn't
No,
take away any of that. All
it
it shows
doesn't.
you, all that. Listen, you have to separate the two things. All that tells you, Mari, that this guy is an elite player. He's an elite
Mm.
player because the numbers do not lie; they speak for him.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
accolades that he's won, the awards that he's won, the golden boots, the playmaker, that trophy where he won two trophies in one season. He won the goal scorer, the top I forgot what it was called. Obviously, top goal scorer, but there was the other award that he won as well in the same season. So all of these accolades he's winning. You rightly say he won the Golden Boot in the World Cup as well. So all these things speak for him.
Mm.
He has to now find a team that match him to go on to win those silverware. So
Yeah,
far, we haven't given him that. He's given us his level, but we haven't given him our level in the sense of we haven't built a team the way he can go and challenge for it. And of course,
yeah,
football is a team game. It's never an individual game. So for me, yes, I understand the fact that he hasn't won the silverware. But for me, that doesn't and that shouldn't take away that what you could question, however, and I will say this about Harry Kane: if in the next season or two we are still in the same situation where we haven't done anything to try and challenge for the top honors, I would then have to question his ambition
Listen, yeah,
as to, mate, if you're so good, why are you still here? You should be going to play your trade because you could play in any team in world football.
mm.
You could be their main number nine there for them and win trophies there. And he has shown
Yeah,
that he wants that, and he has shown already that he's willing to part ways with Tottenham to go and achieve that if needed be. At the moment, he's stuck around because with Conte, he
yeah,
believes maybe there's a possibility of doing that in the coming seasons. So we
yeah,
admire him for that, but at some point there will be that crossroad yet again to say, does he go on to go and play for one of the best teams in the world and go and achieve what he wants to achieve and at least put one or two trophies in his cabinet, as well as his all the personal accolades, or does he not? And then you think to yourself, great player, but where was his ambition? Do you see? The
yeah.
same way Aaron mentions rightly so, Matt Letizia. Matt Letizia was probably one of the most gifted players I've
It
ever seen
was.
in Premier League football. But he was so loyal to Southampton because it was the team that gave him everything
yeah,
that he'd
Mm.
never parted ways with them. But he could have gone on to win stuff elsewhere, but he didn't. He chose to stay at Letizia. So he
Yeah,
remains a club legend, but never won anything.
yeah.
no, yeah.
And so, big up Brian and big up
Hi,
Aaron,
Brian.
big up to Lisa and Ben and everybody else that's watching.
Yeah,
So, which then leads um, to my next point in regards to what we surround Harry Kane. Well, my next question is your opinion of this transfer market. Is it great? Is it underwhelming? Is it terrible? Um, I want to hear from you guys first before I put my opinion. But I will say this. I'll go first. I'll say this. I mentioned I did a super chat. I did it on your show where I just felt it was underwhelming, and I think Stell said it at best because I'm looking at the teams and how they're performing, and then I'm looking at World Cup is coming. I'm like, for me, I'm like, man, this is the season. Let's do it. Let's force Inter's hand with Skinny or Bastoni because to my knowledge, they still have 10 days. Or was it next year? The first
A
next
week. It's a week today, Mari.
mm.
year.
One
But
week
we
today.
force their hand. They have to make a sale. Like it's for me. It's underwhelming. For me. I thought it started great, but as the time has gone, it's kind of like you go on. Oh yeah, you go on a date and you're excited. This
I knew it would get to women.
this wifey material. You're excited. You
That's
know,
right.
and then day 3 and 4 and 5, it's just kind of like,
She's
and now,
getting uglier.
yeah, and now it's to the point where it's kind of like you're fighting for excuses to be able to
Yeah.
break up. And right now, I'm just kind of like, I was excited. Oh yeah, and that excited uh, is kind of going down. The libido is going down, down, down. So I find it underwhelming, especially in the year where it's just you can buy
Make
them
me laugh, man.
You could buy her the wedding ring. You could, this is, I don't know. I don't know. I just find it underwhelming. And like I said, I felt like we needed to definitely get more on the defense, and
Yeah,
even more than getting someone creative. But I'll throw that to you, Queen, and then we'll go.
yeah. Do you know what I was most disappointed? It's the centre back, obviously. It's not rocket science that we need the centre back, and we need somebody to create something for us. For God's sake, Spurs have always had a creative player, right? Be it a Modric or a Van der Vaart or a Ginola or a Hoddle. If you go back in the years, you've got John White, Cliff Jones. We've always had somebody who sort of gets the bums off the seat and gets you excited to watch Spurs, because I don't want to go and watch Spurs and us be pragmatic like the Nuno days. I don't want to see that type of football. And when I'm looking at the transfers coming in, like you said, it's like it started off, yeah, we got Basuma, 25 mil, good deal, man, you know. And then you get Longley, it's a pretty good signing, even though we haven't seen much of him. I'm sure he's going to be a good lad for us and play out of his skin for us. And he's got a good pass on him as well. And then you go through it and then you're thinking, well, where's our right wing back? We're getting a Jed Spence that not really Conte signing. All right, he said, yeah, I'll take him. But he hasn't even blooded him, only 20 minutes against Rangers. And he's stuck with Emerson. So I feel underwhelmed as well. And I'm thinking, Harry Kane, how is he feeling? Because he's seeing Davis and Dyer in the defence passing back to ball because they can't even pass a good ball to the midfield to get our attack going. It's so slow. And then you've got Sanchez coming in for Romero. It's just it's depressing. I want to go to Spurs and like be so excited and like on my way to Spurs. I'm thinking, look, we got this player, we got that player. Yes, we're gonna score lots of goals today, and I don't have that same feeling. It's just a bit depressing. But the only good side of it is we've got 7 out of 9, but the football's been poor. It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iggy, you're
I
you're.
hope I didn't depress too many people there.
Oh, I
Because
wouldn't have
I
it.
was built on tradition. I'm 60-year old this year. I'm 60 years old, so I saw the glory years, the last part of the glory years. All right, I was only one when we did the. I wasn't even born when we done the double, but I was only one when we won the FA Cup, and two when we won the European Cup Winners' Cup. But by 67, I was 5, and I did know because my dad used to drill it into me, Mari. Spurs are the team. We're the team. We're going to do things. And then it sort of fell to pot a little bit. And then we picked up again in the 70s. So I've seen the great football and I've seen the great footballers. And I feel for Harry Kane because he is an elite player. Yeah, now we're going after Traore.
Caleb would not be happy with that, but Iggy, your thoughts
Yeah,
on the transfer
sorry,
market?
but that's my
Oh
thoughts.
no, it's the honest truth. I'm with you.
I'm
I'm 100.
talking from my heart, Mari.
Yeah,
For me, listen, I agree with what you guys are saying. For me personally, we addressed two of the issues that we had. We've got a lot of issues from on the back of last season, so we wanted to address some of them this season or this summer for sure. The two that we did address, we needed a striker. So with Kane, with Son, and Akuda, we always said, man, we went 6, 7 years without another striker in the team. We got one. You can argue whether Richarlison is the one that we should have got, but at least we addressed it and we brought him in. So we
yeah,
we we have to say, okay, fine. So that's the first one we addressed. The second one we addressed was Perisic. We needed a left wing back. We knew that Reggie and Cess wasn't enough. We brought in Perisic. So when we did that straight away, in the month of June, we've got Perisic in, we've got Richarlison in, and you think to yourself, okay, that's good. That's two of the issues that we've addressed. We needed a right wing back issue sorted out. We needed a centre back issue sorted out, partly sorted. And that, when I say partly sorted, underwhelming because nothing to do with the fact that not Langley per se is underwhelming, because we was talking about bringing Bastoni in, then we spoke about Skriniar, like you rightly mentioned.
Yeah.
We brought Langley in on a 1 year loan with no obligation, no option to buy, so it's just a straight loan. So why we've done that so early on, when we had the time to go and get the defender that we could, with centre back that we wanted, remains that I don't know, guys. I'll be honest with you. And Longley, I cannot even judge him because we haven't seen him on the pitch,
Yeah,
so
Mm.
we don't know what kind of player we got. But we know for sure that he's here for 1 year and 1 year only, and then he's gone. So there's no longevity in his career at Spurs. So, but okay, we brought him in as a left centre back. We haven't addressed. We needed two centre backs, a left centre back
Yeah.
and and centre back. We've got one, albeit alone, and we haven't addressed the other centre back issue. An attacking midfielder, creativity in the middle of the park. We are crying out for some sort of creativity. The Madison type of player, the Milinkovic Savic type of player. We
Mm.
need something like that. There is going to be so many games that we're going to see, particularly at White Hart Lane, where we will come unstuck because we cannot break teams down because they play a low block. Southampton tried to do that. Wolves came and they tried to do that. So you're going to see a lot of the teams, particularly the top six, below the top six, they're going to approach us that way. We need someone to unlock those defenses. And the other one for me, like I mentioned earlier, the right wing back. We spent 3 months on signing Jed Spence. He's now in
Mm.
the under 23 because Conte, well, he publicly said it was a club investment. It wasn't.
yeah,
He's the only one that out of all the signings that we made, he's the only one that he's actually spoke about and said it wasn't. It was a club investment, trying to make it sound like it wasn't his. So we have him in the under 23s now. We have Doherty and Emerson available, to which between the two you can't make one decent player out of the two.
yeah,
So we haven't addressed that. We have not addressed that. So these problems, unless something drastic happens between now and next Wednesday, that we address at least there's three situations that we need to address. Unless something drastic happens, Mari, we are going to have these sort of problems facing us. We're gonna be talking about this very moment during the season
Mm.
and say why, because we're going to have games that we didn't unlock because of the right wing back, games we didn't
Yeah.
win because we lacked the creativity, games that we can see to the goal because we don't have that centre back. We are starting this season with the three centre backs that ended last season,
Yeah.
yeah.
so we've not addressed it. So
I know.
It ceases to amaze me.
so
And
for me, yeah, right now, if you had to give me a score out of 10, I would say the maximum I will give you, and it's a generous 6. Generous. I'm
Yeah.
yeah,
giving you a generous 6 out of 10 right now. If the window ended tonight, I would say
Yeah.
6. And you're right, and you have every right to say you're feeling underwhelmed
yeah,
because we
I'm at a
started so well in June. We started so quickly. We got off the blocks straight away, and you're thinking, "Wow, we're putting things in place right now." And you have teams like Nottingham Forest, Murray. Nottingham Forest, I'll say it again, Nottingham Forest, who are on the verge of making their 17th signing. 17 in one
yeah,
summer. It's an
Yeah.
incredible stat, but that's the reality. And I don't want to bring people down, but we have to address what's the reality. We have to address it.
It
Otherwise, we're
is.
not being honest with each other if we don't say it.
Yeah.
yeah. And for me, it's and we can save this for a finance show about us
Very good point, Ben.
not being a poor club. But it's just look at this. Even our best signing in the last 2 years, Romero, it's a loan deal. We've tried to nickel and
Yeah.
dime like a bargain center of Spurs trying to get loans here, and it's just kind of like, why don't we just pay the 20 mil from the Dicker? The
Yeah.
club, he's available for 20 mil. Koulibaly, um, and I love our fan base. Oh, he got a red card. And so wait,
Forget
Koulibaly's
that.
quality. He starts on our team.
How long was I saying it, Mari? Koulibaly,
Mm,
40 million euros. He was there available to pick up. Where the Bremer that went to Juventus, how much
mm.
did he go for?
Yeah,
He could have been. There were so many
Yeah, so
players
many.
available that you could
it's
have got.
so,
We just
I
didn't
mean,
pay the
even I'm hearing Anderson, and you know what? I will take him.
quality. Quality player.
I'm like,
Anderson's a
Mm.
quality player.
it's just it's like it. I would say this, even not even to disrespect Dyer. I would say, okay, at least if you had someone else, what if he gets injured? Who who
Yeah,
slips in to his place? And so it's just so frustrating that it's just
it
like
is.
time
So
loan.
frustrating, man.
And we get a lot for the future. Granted, I'm all about the future, but now seize the moment now.
Yeah. You've got
Yeah.
one of the best coaches in the world, and we're got Dyer and Davis in our defence. And Ramiro gets injured, and we got Sanchez. I mean, well, what do they expect? Do they expect that we're going to get top four with those three?
I
No,
I I,
it's
I
going to
truly
be harder
I
because
truly believe
Arsenal
that
have improved.
I truly believe that we're going to get between now and the closure of the market. I think we're going to get two more players in.
I hope
I believe
so.
I
that.
hope so.
I hope
Um,
so
I
because
think
Don
it's clear.
Baratici,
It's
he's got to
clear.
earn his money.
I think it's clear that we're trying to get another forward in or an attacking player. Because Brian Hill is going
Yeah,
to Valencia, so it's clear that we've
yeah.
been linked with it. So I think I don't know if it's going to be Traore, guys. If it's going to be
Everybody wants
him,
to get Milinkovic Savic, don't they?
the thing is, with 50 million euros we're talking about, not pounds, but 50 million
Yeah,
euros, he can be got. He can be
yeah.
got.
It's
He's a
not
player that.
breaking the bank.
So I don't know. And then the 150 million pound statement that we made earlier in the summer, which
I
what happened
know.
to that statement? Where is it? 150
Where's
It's in
that
the
million
money?
trash bin.
was going to be spent on and off the pitch. So I want to be fair and say it did say on and off the pitch. So let's say if not 150, let's say half of it, 75 million. Where is it? Where did it
Mm,
go? Well,
I know.
has it been spent? It hasn't. So it's frustrating. I find it frustrating. But let's see what happens. And I want to be. The thing is, I don't want to be one of those guys. I shoot my load straight away and say, right,
Mhm.
we have another
Oh,
week.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we have another
Watch
week.
out,
We have another
Sophie.
7 days. Yeah, we have another 7 days. Let's see what happens, and I will really express my opinion fully once that market is shut, and then we can count our chickens, in house, and also who we've got on because we still have Harry Winks in our side. We still
I
have
know.
Regulon in our side. So there are still things that need to be put in place.
Do you know what I like,
Let's see. Let's
Reggie?
see another week. Maybe this time next Wednesday, Mari, you'll have a conversation where you know exactly at this time when you're on your next stream, you will know exactly what we have and what we have done
yep.
and we would have played three more games as well. So we would have had between now and then. Oh, sorry, no, we would have no. We'll be playing West Ham this time next week. Is that right?
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
Big up
No, we would
Alistair.
have played. Sorry, I beg your pardon. We would have played Nottingham Forest this weekend and West Ham the following week. So there's a lot of football to be played, and I think a lot of work to be done on the market.
yeah,
Let's see, like you said, Baratici. Let's see him earning his money.
yeah.
Big up
One thing,
Alistair.
one
Big
thing I
up.
wanted to say: if we lose a couple of games, our fan base is going to go into meltdown because they're going to start looking at all the gaps and all the holes and everything that we haven't done. Even more so now,
I
they're
I,
going to
I think
start
yeah.
questioning it.
defeats bring out the worst in people. I agree with you, Ellie.
Yeah,
But
they do.
I don't need to see Spurs lose to realise where my problems lie in my team.
I agree with you, but I'm
We've
just
clearly
saying the
highlighted
fan base, that's how they're going to
it
react.
just highlights
The
it. Yeah,
ones that are on the fence, Iggy, the ones
yeah,
that are on the
maybe.
fence, they're not either down or up about what we've done. They're on the
Yeah,
fence. You watch,
mm,
we lose a couple of games, they're going to bloody come out of the woodwork
yeah,
and like
yeah,
start mouthing it off all around Twitter, everywhere.
yeah, yeah.
Like Stell says,
Yeah.
they go into meltdown. It's true, they do.
The
He
thing is,
doesn't
we
lie,
got a
this
chance.
boy.
We got a chance right now because my theory was always Um, there's a look at West Ham. They're acting on the market. They just brought in Emerson. They're now trying to get Paquetá in. You're looking at teams like Newcastle doing a bit.
Yeah.
Newcastle doing a bit of
Paqueta,
business. Newcastle, yeah, Newcastle are just at the beginning of something big. They're going to be doing this season after season, and they're going to be trying to push to Europe. So
yeah,
you got Arsenal themselves. They're trying to sign Neto now,
Isaac
and maybe
is
they
a Isaac is a good.
yeah,
I just saw a highlight he
I
scored
know.
a couple days ago. Yeah, it was against Real Madrid, I think. And yeah, he's I'm looking at Newcastle. I'm like,
He plays for
no,
Sweden, doesn't he?
yeah, they're financing, they're getting the players, they're spending the money, they're
oh
getting the players that
Yeah,
they want. They want to grow, and they want to, they're clearly invested. Chelsea themselves now they know they're looking at getting Aubameyang in, so they're
yeah.
addressing the problems that they're having. So in Chelsea's situation, they need a striker.
They
So
need
what
somebody
they're doing
to
about
finish
it,
off their good work
what they're doing about it, they're going to get Aubameyang in. So it's somebody that he's proved that he has scored goals
in the
um,
Premiership.
in
Yeah,
the Premier League, and whilst the ending there for where Arsenal wasn't great, he proved that when he's on his game, he can get goals. So you have teams that are moving, and we've got this great opportunity to try and, like Mari said earlier on, we have this great opportunity that we right now to bridge the gap, which is for me, this is what we should have been aiming to do. Bridge the gap between ourselves and the three teams that are ahead of us. I'm not saying that's going to be done in one market, but at least make take steps to do that
yeah,
yeah,
and get away from the pile or from the pile that are behind you, like Newcastle, West Ham that I just
instead of
mentioned.
that, you know,
Yeah, you want to move away from that pack and get closer to the pack that's ahead of you. But what's happening is the pack behind you
yeah,
are strengthening. The pack in front of you are strengthening also. So they're getting closer, they're getting further, and you are where you are.
yeah.
But
And
even before the signings, when the very last interviews before the end of the season, when you heard Conte, after the thought that came my head is that it would be Romero and a totally different backline. To have this as we speak, where we have Sanchez, we have
yeah,
and we have Davies, I would have told you, and Conte still be there. I would have told you you're lying. You're lying. They did not back, and it would still be.
he would
I'm in
kick his
shock.
ass
I'm
out of
in,
that club.
I'm in shock. I'm like literally in shock, and it's interesting. But I do have an interesting question, right? Um,
Yeah.
and maybe you guys may agree. It's actually it's a calm Bob Spur question of the week, and it is which player, one player from the past, would you sign to help this current team? I would
Okay.
give I would give you one, right? And you
Yeah.
would because I've been harping on center back. It would be either Jan or Toby, like in their prime. Because we struggle from the back to the front, if I had to make one signing, not Gareth Bale, not Luka Modric, not Ericsson,
Mhm.
a player that I would have got, or tempt this at Danny Rose, would be Musa Dembele. Because despite Dyer and Davies, I could trust him with that connection with our front three, especially on the counter, Dembele bringing him from the back to the front. And so
Mm,
I answered the one player from the past that I would sign to help this team, to like really help this current team. It will be
mm,
Musa Dembele.
yeah.
Who's your player?
Hmm.
Oh dear.
Iggy's thinking.
Oh, do you,
It's,
okay, yeah, I'll go.
A fully
Listen,
fit Lenny King.
me,
That's another one. That's another one.
for my personal taste, and Brian, we're on this one. We're always going to agree. Paul Gascoigne would always be mine, but that's my personal taste. One, because I genuinely think we need a player like that in the middle of the park, somebody that can break the lines, attack the defenses, and creative. That spark, that magic, that White Hart Lane would have. He would have everybody at the edge of their seat. Prime Gascoigne would be, yeah. Modric is another one. Would be a great one, but putting that to one side, the biggest problem I feel in this team right now, there are a few, but the one that really needs to be addressed is the right wing back spot, man. We,
Gaza.
for me, yeah, I agree. For me, this team right now needs Kyle Walker. For me, a Kyle Walker, the situation on one side with Perisic on the other. Whilst all these players, you guys are bringing up some great players, Dembele,
mm,
Modric, Gascoigne. They are all valid players that would absolutely be amazing for this current team. Because you see the players that you guys are all mentioning, players that excite you. They're players that have you at the edge of your feet. The players that Ellie was alluding to that makes her go to White Hart Lane to go and watch and
mm,
get a ticket. But for me right now, and this I mentioned it with Scott, just brought it up. The one area that we're currently bad, that right wing back spot, is so poor that a Carl Walker, the situation would improve us massively, because all
Yes.
of a sudden you'll find yourself from two rubbish wing backs that we had last season to find Perisic on one side and Carl Walker on the other side,
yeah.
and all of a sudden you could take off with those wings. You can literally that plane could take off.
Oh
So
yeah. If we had Walker and Rose with this with Conte. Oh man, that would be
Mm,
that would be crazy.
mm.
That would be crazy.
Okay.
I'd like to
even
be.
All right.
No,
Carl,
I'm listening to all of
I would say
these.
to Carl, even Kieran Trippier would would be a
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
I
Carl
thought.
Walker would be good. Kieran Trippier would be good
Right.
as well. At least we'll score a few free kicks as well in the meantime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So look, I think Carl Walker would be crying
Carl
out more than
Walker.
anyone
Yeah.
else in this team.
Right.
Prime Carl Walker, obviously, where we had him. I know he's brilliant at Man City, but I still think that the one that we had at right back was phenomenal, phenomenal. With obviously Danny
Yeah.
Rose on the look at that team, Danny Rose and Carl
Carl.
Walker on the
But
wing.
we
Look,
still
and
didn't win
they
anything.
weren't playing. They weren't playing. They were playing as fullbacks, Ellie. They weren't even playing as wing backs, but they
I
were like
know.
added wingers, and they were playing in a back four.
They were fabulous, but like I said, we never won anything with them.
Yeah,
We still
yeah,
didn't win any trophies.
yeah.
So, however good they were, we didn't win any trophies. Uh,
All roads lead
if
to
I
Rome,
had to pick
Ellie. All
one
roads lead to
player,
Rome. There's a
Walker
reason for
lead
that.
on to the trophies for
All roads lead to
I'm
Rome.
quite shocked actually in the chat.
The same
I
reason
mean,
why we didn't win no
maybe because they're
trophies then.
younger.
The same reason why we didn't win those trophies then are the same reason why we're not doing it now.
Yeah,
All roads lead to Rome, all of them.
yeah, of
The
course.
answer is
But
always there, the same.
I'm quite shocked, right? Because I would actually, if I could choose two players, man, I couldn't choose one. But I'm shocked that nobody's mentioned Glenn Hoddle. Now this guy, he can pass a 60-foot pass right onto your foot. Sublime passing.
I think it's a
Which would
generational thing, though, Ellie. I think
it would
I
carve
barely remember.
open any
I barely,
defence.
I barely remember Glenn Hoddle. I've
Right.
definitely seen him play.
I
I've
remember
seen the
him very
YouTube videos.
well.
I've seen the videos, but I never
He
saw him live.
is he is, in my opinion, the greatest ever English footballer that has ever lived. And I'm not saying this lightly. This man was a genius. He was a genius. And it was such a crying shame that England didn't bloody see it, the English national team, because they only
Just
give him
different
53
time,
caps.
different
Right,
time.
but
Really,
this
with that.
guy, he could make a difference more than Gaza, more than Carl Walker. That's my opinion
But I think
because
the
he could
question
put
is,
his foot on the ball, right? Just let me have my piece, Iggy, because this when I get about, I'm really hot on Glenn Hoddle because I used to watch him. He was the most brilliant footballer you'll ever see. Elegant, could bring the ball down, deft touch, passing range, skill. The goals he scored were absolutely stunning. Free kicks, volleys, 35 yarders, tap ins, whatever you wanted, he could do, this player. Now, this would make us an elite team if he was in our team. But the only other player I would choose, if I had another choice, would be Dave Mackay. Because Dave Mackay, when he came to Spurs, he changed the whole of that defence. And even the great Bill Nicholson said, this player has made us a team because he gelled everybody together. He was a talker, he was a leader, and he spoke with his feet as well because he was a fantastic defender. He read the game so well. Unfortunately for me, I didn't see him a lot because I was a bit young, but my dad told me about him and I watched old reels of him. And what a player! What a player! Even better than Carl Walker. Carl Walker couldn't even lace Dave Mackay's boots, I'm telling you.
But Scott brought up a good point. Prime Walker in this system, I mean, he'll be putting up, Trent Arnold numbers. I mean, you would think,
Carl
especially.
Walker's a fantastic player. He is. I'm not doubting that he would have made a big difference to our team because we're crying out for somebody on that right. And Carl Walker was the best right wing back we've had for. We haven't had another one like him, have we? He's a fantastic player and he's gone on to win trophy after trophy after trophy with Man City. So that's the proof of the pudding. You put him with an elite team because he's an elite right wing back and he excelled, didn't he? With us, he didn't win anything because we weren't an elite team. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
said my piece now.
No, some
Up
thank you to the panel, from Carl to Scott to Elder Stan, Brian. Some really, really good, interesting
Gaza,
choices.
yeah.
Some
It's another
plays
one.
I didn't get a chance to play. Get to see Stevie Carr. I didn't really get the chance to see, but I've heard of them. I've heard of Chris Waddle, um,
Yeah, he's a
and
decent player, Chris Waddle. Very good.
yeah. But yeah, my choice of just Dembele, just because we don't have. I mean, I'm hoping that's Basuma, but I
He's the
haven't. Maybe
nearest thing to Hoddle, Dembele. He was the nearest thing we had to Glenn Hoddle. He was actually stronger than Glenn Hoddle in terms of holding the ball because he was a bigger bloke. You know, you couldn't knock him off the ball. He was fabulous. There was one game he played, Mari, against Man United away. He was absolutely superb. He was out of this world, Dembele, in that game. He ran the midfield, and even Paul Scholes, after the match, he said, "This Dembele is the real deal." It's a shame that he went when he went because we needed him for that Champions League final, didn't we?
yeah,
I think
uh,
I honestly believe we would have beaten Liverpool with him in our midfield.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Especially
It's a good
time.
shout though, and yours, Iggy. Good
Yeah,
shout,
some good.
man.
yeah. I just thought, yeah, the reason why I chose Carl Walker. Listen, there was way more better players that I could have named and they all
Yeah,
would have been. But I
Just for
just
you're
you.
feel that
doing it.
in this
You're doing
team,
it. What we need
yeah,
right
I just
now
think
in our
right
team.
wing back that
Yeah,
side is the
it's
one
an
area that I
intelligent
would
one.
go. For me, I would choose if someone said to me, "You got one signing to make before the end of the market." right now, of course, I want to see a creative players there. Of course, I want to see another centre back there. But then I look at my right hand side and I think, we're in the shit there. We're so
Yeah.
in the shit.
We're in the
I'm thinking I have
doghouse.
to address where the leak.
Are
You
you?
know, you see, thinking, oh yeah, you buy a new house and you're thinking I could do with a new wallpaper. I could do with this,
Yeah.
and then you got a leak in the bathroom and you're not addressing that, but because you want to go
Yeah.
and get yourself a brand new telly in the lounge, you're thinking, no, you need to sort that leak out at the bathroom before the whole house floods. You know
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
So
It's
for me,
true.
that's
That's a
why
good analogy, man.
that's why
That's such a good
I'm
yeah.
choosing
analogy.
the right wing back. But
Very
you know,
good analogy. Magic.
yeah.
So we play Forest next. What are your thoughts going into the game? It's a road game. Don't
Yeah.
going there. It's going to. What I love about the Premier League, I say it. I'll say it again. Especially when you go on the road, every game is dangerous. Every game is
Yeah.
dangerous. And
Yep.
they're newly called up. Newly into the Premier League, and you know I don't think they have done that 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 bad. They've done okay for the first couple of games, and so
Mm.
what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on the game, Biggie?
For me, I think Forest, like any new up and coming a team that have come up from the Championship, back in the Premier League after so many years. I think the fans are going to be enthusiastic. They're going to have a roaring crowd. I think it's going to be a tough crowd in a sense that they're going to make it very difficult for us right from the terraces. And I think Nottingham Forest are going to come at us first 15, 20 minutes, going to try and come at us and try and really get into us. But I will say this, if they do that and they do it in a way that we hope, or I hope that they do, they could risk a lot of damage going the other way because we can cause pain going the other way if they get sucked in by their own crowd to attack us from the minute goal, which is what I feel is going to happen. I think that can work in our favor and we can counter them and hurt them bad. And if they do that, if they don't get it right tactically, if they don't get that right, I think they're going to get hurt bad. And for me, I predict a 3-1
Mm.
win.
And are you looking to see
Yeah.
if Son gets his confidence in that type of a game against Forest? So I would assume he
Yeah.
starts.
He
I
may, yeah, he may even start, he may not start this game. Who knows? I
You
would,
never know.
and I think I've been very vocal about it. I would, but then I've been told, I've been slammed by saying, well, what's the point of bringing Richarlison in if you can't get a game when his fellow forward is not playing well? He's not going to get a game when if Kane and Son are firing, he's not going to get a game, and if Kane and Son are not playing well, he doesn't get a game. What was the point of getting him? It's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
valid question, a valid argument,
it's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is. Of course it
the,
is.
but I
the
would still start Son. That's how I feel about it.
yeah, no, yeah, because the great teams they're like, oh, okay, all right, you're not having such a hot, first couple of games. Okay, we'll put someone else in, and
Mm.
that's what they do. Whereas our club, even before the Carlson, it's like, you're gonna bench Kane, well, rotate, rotate Son. It's just like for who, So it's just Steven Bergwijn, So it's no, it's
Yeah.
yeah, 3-1. Yeah, no, that's a kind of a score that I would be looking at. Ali, what's your thoughts on the game? What do you
Yeah.
want?
I think on the same lines as Iggy in terms of if they do come at us, as long as we keep a clean sheet in that first 15, 20 minutes and we can pick them off, especially if we're on the ball. Because at the moment, in the first three games, apart from the Southampton game, we haven't really threatened as such, have we? We haven't really gone at teams. They've gone at us. But I mean, Nottingham Forest are not as good as Chelsea. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah,
But they can still score a goal against us. So we've got to protect ourselves. But I think we can get joy if they come at us all of the game. We can pick them off, and it could be a big score for us. But if they play this low block on the pretense that they might get a draw out of us, then it's going to be a lot more difficult. But I just see us winning quite high. I just think Sonny's going to have a fire in his belly as well, and he really does play away from home. He does play well, and I think they'll be working with Kane and Son to get them back in tune in training, because they've been quite separated. I see they've not been linking up that well, and when one's been free, the other's been free. I remember Kane against Chelsea; he could have put him through Sonny, and he was like doing his nut. He was going, "Whoa, come on, you could have passed to me." So I think they'll be working on that, and I think they're going to hit a nice peak in this game. I think it's going to be 3 or 4-1, maybe 4-0. Yeah.
I'm predicting the Bob Spurs score of 4-1.
Yeah.
Sonny gets back on all cylinders. I think Carlson scores a goal. I think we spread the wealth. I think it's a game where we, because we have struggled the first half. I know some of the players have heard it. I know Conte has heard it, and even though it's on the road, I think I agree with Iggy that I think Nottingham Forest is going to come out on the attack. They want to be real aggressive, and I think it's going to harm them. I think they're the perfect team to play for us to get back running on all cylinders, and so I think
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 4-1. I would say I would say I think I'll say Sonny scores 2, Kane scores 1, McCallum scores 1,
That'd be
and
nice.
and I think we'll see a little bit more of Basuma. I'm hoping to see a little bit more of Basuma, and so
I hope
that's
he
what.
starts.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. I really hope we're surprised because, like I said, I want to see him. I want to see him play. I want to see. It's not
Yeah.
like he's new to the Premier League. He knows like he
He knows
knows.
it like the back of his hand, doesn't he?
He was literally stats wise, performance. He was one of the best center mids last year in the Premier League, and
Yeah.
so this shouldn't be a problem for him starting. He had COVID in June. It's now going to be September. I know everybody's different in recovery, but he's named on the squad. He's coming in, but he's just playing the last 5 minutes of uh of each game. So yeah.
Mm.
We have a short version because I have some other stuff to do too of Spurs Lounge. So we'll have caption this next week. We'll have that all prepared. But we want to know people want to know where they can find you. Pretty much everybody know where they can find you, but Iggy, where can people find your genius and wonderful. If you guys don't watch his morning shows, his clips, it literally starts my day on my way going to work.
That's
I,
it. You've got to see Iggy's face smiling at us.
Well, tomorrow morning, guys. Tomorrow morning we'll be doing another video. I'm sure we'll be
Yeah.
linked to another 20 million names, and that's going to be the way forward between now and the end of the transfer market. But we'll be doing a video tomorrow morning, as per always, daily videos, and of course, the stream wise, we will be back Friday night, 10 p.m. UK time. It's going to be a wonderful stream again. So we'll be on again 10 p.m. But of course, yeah, keep an eye out for the morning videos, and then of course the weekend match day content. I know we're playing away, so but I'm sure we'll be doing back and forth opinions in regards to the match, and then after that we'll be back on a Monday night stream where we'll be
Steak.
talking about the weekend game.
Yeah.
All right.
Ali, where can
Yeah.
you find your grace?
Okay. So I've joined THST till I die. We got
Yes.
the new name. It was Tottenham Tantrum Gold and Tottenham Gold, but we went with something more catchy, I think. THFC Till I Die. It's with me and Dermot and Philip Brady, the Godfather. We're doing a show on Friday, a pre-match for Nottingham Forest, and we've got a really good show coming up called The King, Queen, and the Godfather, which we're going to just be talking about old things Spurs and our experiences as fans, and just rambling on about players and great matches, and what we used to do when we were kids. So it'll be a good watch, and we got Philip Brady, who's like an encyclopedia. He's fantastic, that guy. And you got the witty Dermot. He's funny as well. He
Yeah.
comes up with some funny stuff. And then we've amalgamated with Mile High Hotspur, the American lads, Leo Coyce and Parker. They're part of our group now, so it's exciting times ahead. We're trying to grow the channel as well. We've grown quite a lot in the last, since I joined, we've grown over 200 more subscribers. So we're getting there. We're getting there. It's a hard slog when you're a streamer. You've got to work hard at it. You've got to put out regular shows, keep everybody interested in your show as well. And like Iggy's daily vlog, I look forward to that every morning, because it's just something that it gives you all the news, and you're so good on the Italian stuff as well, Iggy, and
Thank
you've got
you.
such a good disposition, when you're presenting. It makes it entertaining for everybody. So I'm bigging up Iggy
I
today,
appreciate.
because
Thank you. I
it's
appreciate it.
fantastic.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot.
Brilliant, brilliant Spurs fan. Brilliant. You can't get better.
Definitely, definitely. And so, as you guys know, you guys will see me here on Wednesday nights for the
Yeah.
Spurs Lounge. Before I sign off, I'll make this prediction for tomorrow. Uh, and you may not like it because it's the easy route. I like to take the easy way. Well, all right. What I would like to
Don't
see,
say it, Mario. Do not say it. Don't say it,
see
man.
Porto, Sevilla. What are those? Porto, Sporting, and
Yeah.
you know what? Give us Celtic. And we'll go those three teams. But in reality,
Don't say it.
this this is what AC.
Yeah, not this side of Milan. The other side of Milan. Mention them. I'd rather have them.
All
I
right,
want a taxi for Michael on part two
Inter
again.
Milan, not AC
all right,
Milan.
we will have. I honestly think we'll get Real Madrid,
Wow.
us. Um, we'll get Sporting, and then we'll have Club Grudge,
Hmm.
which is okay.
We could
Uh,
we could finish we can finish high up. You only have
yeah,
to finish first or second, don't you? And then the third
You know
one
what? I
goes
want.
into Europa.
It's. You know what? It's been so long since we've been to the Champions League. I actually want. I want something a bit more exciting. I'll be honest. I'm not going to say who, but I want
Yeah.
to. I understand why you're saying those teams, because you want to be a relatively reasonable group where we can make it. I get it. I get it. But man, I want a big team in that, because that's gonna be, like I said, a Champions League at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium under the
be,
lights
be
against
careful
one
what
of
you
the
ask for.
great of
Be
European
careful
football.
what you
Yeah,
ask
it's fantastic. The
because
European nights. You
it
can't
could
beat
That's
them.
be
what I want. That's what I
it
want.
could be Real Madrid, it could then be Inter, and then it could be Rangers. That would be the group of death.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, Inter. I mean, listen, bring
And
Inter,
Rangers.
bring them on. Inter, my God, I'll go there with extra hatred. So for me, it would be absolutely pleasure to have them coming down and go all hatred on them. So I'll have even more. I'll bring the double hatred from our point of view, from the other point of view. So bring them on. Real Madrid will be
Oh,
a good one. Real Madrid is a great one. You know, you want
yeah.
European champions at
Yeah,
Tottenham. But they're the European champions, and you'll have them at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It'd be awesome. Listen,
Oh,
you know what? I think Alexander hits the nail on the head. Just to hear that anthem back at the stadium, yeah, yeah, that's exactly, yeah.
there's an a cappella style. There's an a cappella style on the internet on YouTube, and it's amazing. A cappella. They're just their voices. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think I
For
sent
me,
it to everybody already.
I heard it. I heard it.
Yeah,
For
it's
me, this
fantastic.
is a great thing about it. It's just listening to that anthem again.
Yeah,
Other teams will be listening to a different anthem on a Thursday night, but we will be listening
yeah.
to a great one on either a Tuesday, Wednesday night. So I thoroughly looking forward to it.
Iggy, I wanted to ask you, right? Because you know Conte was a big Juventus man. He played for
Mm,
Juventus.
mm.
When he went to Inter and he managed Inter, was there any animosity from the Juventus
They hated
side?
him. They hated him.
Right.
It was
Yeah,
a
I wanted
similar
to know
story.
this.
They hated him. They didn't want him there. He went there with a point to. The reason why Conte went there because of the way he left Juve, he wanted to be the one to break their
Yeah,
9 year cycle. He wanted to go back to against his old team to say, "I'm
yeah.
going to break your cycle and win the title for Inter Milan." He's got no
Mm.
affiliation with Inter. He just did it to prove that point.
Just
But
prove
when
a
they signed,
point.
it was like
Yeah,
it was a similar sort of thing when we signed when we got Jose Mourinho. You know, our hatred with Chelsea, and when he was there,
yeah,
with some fans excited with it. They were saying, he's a winner. But a
yeah.
big section of the Spurs fans weren't happy with when we got Jose Mourinho
I
because of
know.
his affiliation with Chelsea. Yes, Conte has the same affiliation with Chelsea, but it's not in the same level, was it? It wasn't. It
No,
wasn't
it isn't.
Jose Mourinho level. So for me, I'm just reading one of the comments about
I like this
for me,
insight. You see.
for me personally, yeah. So yeah, the hatred was there, Lee. They weren't happy, but of course, him winning the league made
I
things a lot
know.
better. It made things a lot better for them.
I wonder
Well,
how they greet him if he walks back into Juventus
Oh no, he's
after
still a club
Spurs.
legend. He's still a club legend, man. He's
He's a
still
club. He was
he won
brilliant
a
for them.
lot of
A lot of
titles with
trophies. I read
as a
about
player
that.
and as a manager. So he's
we
a
Yeah,
never
legend there.
know in respect of time. But I will say this: everybody should be rooting for Tanguay to have a great. Well, no, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Some of you guys know, Iggy knows that if there's a club that I support in Serie A,
Yeah.
um,
Oh,
it will be
Napoli.
Napoli.
He
And so,
scored. Did you see his
is
goal?
that because of Maradona?
yeah, because of Maradona.
Yeah.
He scored.
So
He's wearing number 91, and he scored a cracking goal. I saw it. I saw it on Twitter
um,
earlier.
when I lived in Italy for 2 months, I stayed in Napoli too, so that made it
Yeah.
uh, even better. Um, yeah, he
Beautiful
scored.
part of Italy.
So it will be for Napoli's benefit. He has a great year, but also to our benefit,
Get
so
rid of
we
him.
can get rid of Tanguay. So yeah, I mean, what's it? Siri? It's not even Siri. It's not Siriati. It was a Siri seat. It was a
Yeah,
seat.
it was a friendly. I think he was just trying to get them
Yeah,
up to physically up to scratch. But listen,
Mm.
I think he's going to do well in Italy. I think it's a league that suits him, and
yeah,
he's listen. He's a flip. I've never ever questioned his ability. His ability has always been there. It's just his mentality is not right, and I think he struggles with the intensity of the Premier League. I think the Italian league will suit him because it does.
Mm.
It would showcase his abilities, technical abilities, a lot more, and it's not as
Yeah.
intense as the Premier League is. So for me, there's no reason why he can't do well in that. And I think he's got the right environment because
Yeah.
in Napoli they really love you as a player. If you're great for them, they truly take you in.
Yeah, they
However,
do.
flip that. If you don't if you don't
I
pull your
hate you.
weight there, they will let you know about it as well.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, and
and
he'll
I would say
probably
this:
learn. I was going to say he'll
no,
probably learn about shithousery and how to get away with it.
yeah.
no
No, he would.
league,
You know.
no league, no culture greet their players
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Italians and say,
Nah. I
they
know
got
that.
cameras on them. Like,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
You know,
it's huge.
They
do
love
you know,
it.
I wanna quickly, if I can, I wanna read something out, and this is something that Fikayo Tomori said, and I tweeted about this, and I thought it was really really interesting. If I can quickly find it, what it was, he said,
Yeah,
bear with me, I've had it here somewhere. Um,
Mm.
what us? Sorry, what I was saying. Right, this is what he said. Hang on. He said Fikayo Tomori said, and I put it and I put it down, your thoughts on this because I thought it was really interesting. He said, in England, people enter the stadium just before kickoff, while in Italy, the stadium is full during the warm up. So
Yeah.
the see, and I live there, and I've been to the games, and I still go to Milan. As you guys go, I fly out 2 or 3 times a season to go and watch the games there. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you, the match doesn't start at kickoff. It starts from the moment you wake up. On a Sunday morning, the
Mm.
moment you wake up is when the match starts. So you get there early, you get an hour and a half before kickoff. The ultras already there, the fans start to gather around, and as the team starts coming out from the warm up, starts to come out for the warm up, the stadium is rammed, it's completely full to the brim. The flags are out, the fireworks are going off,
Mm.
the chants, the choruses are all out in full motion
Yeah.
just for the warm up, Ellie. Then they go
Yeah.
back inside, and then they come out to start the game.
Yeah.
In here, there is a difference here. We get
It's
to the game
not
half
even a
full.
quarter
Some people
full,
get there
is it?
early. Other
Yeah.
people get there just as the kickoff starts. Some get after 10 minutes the game has started. Still, people are
wow.
still coming in
I
the stadium.
know. Because they're
Yo,
And
drinking their beer outside. One
yeah,
time,
so
it was the Brighton game. I went to the toilet about 10 minutes in. I needed to go, right?
yeah,
And I went, and there was loads of fans in the forecourt just drinking beer, watching it on the
yeah.
screen, eating their food. They weren't even coming
It's
in to
just
watch the
different.
match.
I think in Italy, what I find, it's a religion, Mari. Come the weekend, man.
Yeah.
It's your holy grail. It's your church. It's whatever way you want to look at it. They live and breathe their teams, and especially like you say, from Napoli, Roma south, it gets even more. You see
Yeah.
what it's like there. They are fanatics
I
no,
when it
saw
just
comes to their
Roma's
side.
celebrations. They were
every
amazing.
sense. Yeah,
So
good and bad.
that's what I love about it. That's why I really enjoy going there. That's not to say that I don't enjoy going to the matches here. I just think they live and breathe it completely and utterly different over there than we
Yeah.
do over here.
You
Yeah,
watch Jose, he'll go and win the Europa League this year as well.
the
I'll put
Roma
my house on it.
winning the Conference League. It was like, and even when they introduced that signing, who
I
did they sign?
know.
Dybala. They made it
Uh,
seem like they
did
signed
you see that?
Ronaldo.
Did you see the Did you see the way they unveiled that signing? It
Oh my
was just
goodness!
I
go and look
know.
at if you haven't seen it, Ellie.
It's
Go and
like a
look
film
online.
star. I've
The
seen
unveiling
it.
of
It's
the building with the projector of his.
I know.
I
It's
was just
amazing.
I was like, wow, and I was just like, I know Real Madrid, they do their announcement. I'm like, no, it doesn't touch
Yeah.
it.
They offered him,
It doesn't touch it
Murray.
in Italy.
Let me give you an insight on this one. They offered him the number 10 shirt. They said, "Look, we've got the number 10 ready for you. It's ready for you to wear." They already had it number 10, the Bala,
Yeah.
and he said, after that unveiling, he had to sit there. Remember, he was sitting there like a little kid,
Yeah,
watching it, all the fans in the building,
Yeah.
and they said, and he said to them, "I can't take the shirt. It's just too much. It's too much."
Yeah.
He refused to wear the Totti. He goes, "I can't because Totti is me
He's
wearing the number
a
10. It's
god.
just too much." So he just said no. I think he took number 21, and they
Yeah.
unveiled him with the number 21. But
Kulusevski's number.
he was offered a 10, and he just said no. This it's too much. It's too much pressure to
Yeah.
wear it.
Do you know what they do now, right?
Different
They
levels.
protect our players so much. Like Perisic shines, a fantastic world class player. He comes to the ground and there's no one there to greet him. There's literally not, but he's just walking around the ground. It's an empty stadium. If
Yeah,
that was in Italy, they'd be packed. to welcome Perisic, you know? And like you
It's
can't
just
even go
different.
to
It's
the
just different,
training
Ellie.
ground now
It's
to
just
watch them
different. It's
train.
just different. It's just
But
different.
in Italy, they still invite the fans to watch them train, don't they?
They don't need to be invited. They will get in, whether you want to
Yeah,
let
they
them in or
just
not.
go
They can.
in. Now you don't go in the olden days, Iggy. You could go to the training ground and watch Spurs train. No, they don't allow it.
It's just
What is
different
wrong
now.
with these people?
Update, Alex or anybody else, the teams that we cannot play, of course, is the Premier League teams, and
Yeah.
we can't play as in pot two. So that will include Barcelona, Juventus. So we can't play Juventus. The only two Italian teams we can play is AC Milan and Inter. Because wait,
Okay.
or we could play Napoli. Um, um, those are the only three Italian teams that we can play. We can play RB Leipzig. No, we can't play RB Leipzig. We can't play Atletico, and we can't play Sevilla. So, um,
You're on a win-win, Iggy, if we get AC Milan,
I'm really
aren't
not.
you?
I'm really not. I'm really, really not.
But the thing
I
is,
don't
you've
want that.
got allegiance to
Inter
AC
Milan would
Milan
be
as
good.
well, though.
Napoli would be good. Napoli would be a really good one.
What
I
if
mean,
we got AC Milan
that,
in the final?
yeah, if we play Napoli, that's no biggie. I mean, Spurs through and through.
Yeah.
That's in my blood. You know, like I said,
I think,
I would root for Napoli if they play anybody else, but when they play us, oh yeah, it's
Different story.
where did
Spurs.
Roma finish? Did they finish
But for
sixth?
you, wow, that's oh man, that's tough.
Roma in Europa, didn't
Did
they?
they finish 5 or 6?
They finished outside. They won the Europa, so that
Yeah,
puts them
they
in
won the
Europa League.
conference, so they're in Europa
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, they're in Europa.
Yeah,
They finished
so
in
they
Europa spot.
finished.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
they
think
finished
they
6th or
finished.
7th.
They finished fifth or sixth or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought they did.
Scott,
They were quite
Scott,
high up.
salt to the wound. Imagine Spurs
Or
Milan
Spurs Milan.
group and they finished third and
Same.
fourth.
I don't want to
Oh,
imagine that. I think it's just be too painful. Too painful. Too painful,
I
guys. Don't
know.
do this. Let's
the
hope he means. Let's hope he means
If he
Inter
was
Milan.
Inter Milan.
Inter Milan. Then the hatred. You're gonna see a side of me that you guys have never seen. If you see, and in that stadium at
Yeah.
White Hart Lane, if we play Inter Milan, you're gonna see a side to me that you've never ever seen. I will go all out on them. All out.
I know.
Let's
Yes,
bring
Roma was
Inter Milan on.
6th.
Bring them
Yeah.
on. Bring Inter on.
Thanks, Scott.
what people don't know, a surprise is Frankfurt is actually in pot one because they won the Europa League. So
Europa.
they're another one
Okay.
that
Yeah.
it's kind of like, oh, we want to, I kept saying Porto, but I think everybody wants either Frankfurt from everybody else,
They
Porto.
sold They sold Kostic to Juventus, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yes, he's already playing for them. Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
Juventus money? I always hear a blurb that, they may not sign any players. They get Kostic,
I
they got
know.
Ivanovic in January. They're getting like,
They're
I'm
still
like,
a big
They've
club,
got the
though.
law. They've got the
No, they're still a
law,
big
haven't
club. They're
they?
still a big club.
I
They're
like
still a world.
Barcelona.
They're a big club.
They
Yeah.
buy money under the cupboard. They're like, oh, we got to stash it, and it's just, how do they do it? No, that's
I like
the
AC Milan's kit.
yeah.
I love AC Milan's kit. The red and the black. It's beautiful.
That's my worst fear. Arsenal winning the Europa League because I actually think they have a good chance of winning it. And I know I hate Arsenal. I hate it, but I
Yeah.
There's a
respect
lot of
this.
there's a lot of good teams.
They're
There's
gonna
a lot
get
of good,
far. They're gonna get far in
I
it.
don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think
Because
it's
they
going to happen. What always happens, they're going to do well for a little while, and then the wheels will come off, and that'll be the end of that. They won't go far. But
yeah,
in my
well,
opinion, they won't.
could be Naeem from the halfway line.
Maybe.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna take off, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch the draw tomorrow. I know I'll be
Yeah.
watching because it comes early, right before work, and
Yeah.
so it's at 11 and 6 o'clock here in the States, 6 a.m. in the morning. So I'll be watching and see if my
Yeah.
predictions are right. Yeah, the Arsenal fans, they can watch that Friday, that following day of their
Yeah.
league draw while we do the The champions. Draw,
We are the champions.
draw. This, and then, of course, by next week we will know if we got Bastoni. And you know, 'cause I just saw Alex blurb. There's maybe a surprise at center back, which Lord, I'm praying. Yeah, 6 o'clock Eastern. Um, I'm praying. I'm praying. Bastoni, Guardiola, even the Dicker, please. Anderson,
Come on, come on.
Malinga,
We can't. I don't want to see Dyer anymore.
2 players. I'll be happy. You give me a center back or attacking mid.
Or right wing back.
So happy. Wow, we're talking about the mafia. We need to do an episode of that. I got a deep knowledge on that. Aaron's bringing out the
Mobria.
okay. All right, guys. We are
Yeah.
Come
Thanks,
on.
Mari.
Let's beat
Thanks,
Forest.
Siggy.
Good night, guys. Thank you very much,
Good
Murray.
night.
Bye, everyone.
Brilliant show as usual.
Yep.
Take care.